Well, hey guys, welcome to this presentation on interest groups, or sometimes they're called lobbies. I promise you I'm going to make this whole presentation 10 minutes or less, so let's zip through this. First of all, what are lobbies or interest groups and what influence do they have in politics? Well, what you're going to see is that interest groups have a major influence in US politics. And the reason why is because some of these interest groups, which are very large and very wealthy, will hire people they call lobbyists, and lobbyists will usually take up shop in Washington D.C. They'll get an apartment there, they live there, and they're at Capitol Hill every day trying to get in the ear of some politician and trying to get that politician to do things, write bills to become laws or things like that that will benefit that particular interest group that lobbyist represents. Uh, Lobbyists can, they get these smooth talkers in there to get these politicians to try to do what they want them to do, and sometimes the politicians do it. And so, but it's a symbiotic relationship, right? Because if an interest group through a lobbyist can get a politician to write legislation and pass legislation favorable to that interest group, then of course there's something promised to the politician in return. And usually that is, hey, we'll make sure we, the big interest group, help fund your campaign when you're up for reelection next time. And so, uh, and there's of course, the interest groups can take politicians out to dinner and things like that. So there are all kinds of perks, right? That interest groups are willing to offer if you're willing to try to promote their cause uh, to the public or to a certain target audience. So, but let's talk about this then. So, interest groups then basically are big groups who are promoting an interest. Go figure, right? And it's an interest or a cause that they're passionate about and that they want to try to promote and get their way. And so let's look at some of these interest groups. All right. So generally, when we think about interest groups or lobbies, we think of like one particular organization who's promoting one particular cause that they're passionate about and want everyone to feel the same way about. But sometimes we have to kind of group things together. For example, you'll see what I'm talking about. Uh, some of these huge lobbies, they're kind of like umbrella lobbies, if you will. So, for example, the tech lobby, Facebook, Google, YouTube, Twitter, stuff like that. They may not necessarily have a particular lobbyist or particular people working as lobbyists for their individual companies, but collectively working together, they are the tech lobby. They will have people maybe representing the tech lobby in general and representing all of these big companies or organizations as far as a trying to promote um, their technological cause, whatever that may be, right? So you'll see, like tech lobby is huge, right? The mining lobby. Of course, there's a lot of different things people can mine, but you might have them, in all, uh, you got lobbyists that represent, the gold miners, the silver miners, the copper miners, the coal miners, right, all together, right, and trying to do what's best for the mining industry as a whole. You can see here the defense industry, of course, how much money is involved in that, right? So these are private companies that make things that they sell to the U.S. government and U.S. military, right? So your airplanes and you name it, right? Your weapons, and so the defense industry has lobbyists that work for it, but maybe not necessarily representing one company in particular, but the defense industry as a whole. So you get the idea. The agribusiness industry, the agricultural business, right? So the farming and all the equipment and seeds and you name it, right? And big oil, okay, and big pharma, the pharmaceutical companies. So these are powerful, huge lobbies that are worth, billions and billions of dollars and are made up of private companies, individual companies that, collectively will work together in the tech or mining or oil or pharma industries. Okay. So that's kind of the umbrella in general lobbies. Let's look now at some particular very strong interest groups. The 10 most powerful interest groups in the US, according to a recent survey, were these. And now these are going to be more specific, and they promote one specific cause, right? The NAACP, or the National Abortion and Reproductive Rights Action League, the AFL-CIO, which is your union, the people that represent the unions and the workers, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, MoveOn.org, Americans for Prosperity, AARP, which you might see commercials for if you watch morning television, like the morning talk shows or the morning game shows, okay? The American Medical Association, the AMA, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and the National Rifle Association. So all these are more specific in their target and in their goal, okay, these interest groups. And and they're passionate about their cause, and they want to promote their cause to everybody, right? So that's basically what an interest group is. Now, here are some unique interest groups, unique lobbies. You can make an interest group for just about any cause, anything a person is passionate about or a group of people are passionate about, they can do an interest group for. Now, of course, the ones I just showed you are bigger money, right? They advertise nationally and maybe globally at times, and they're paying for lobbyists in DC full time, things like that. Some of these groups that are still legitimate interest groups, okay, may not be quite as serious minded in their focus, although the members would probably say they're serious about it, but you get the idea, right? The U.S. Association of Reptile Keepers, the Cigar Rights of America, California Cling Peach Growers, the Balloon Council, Sports Fan Coalition, American Pyrotechnics Association. I know a few people who should belong to that one. The American Dehydrated Onion and Garlic Association, the Catfish Farmers of America, Manned Space Flight Education Foundation, and Families Conserving Antiques. So these are legitimate, real interest groups that really exist. It's just, of course, they're not nearly as big, don't have nearly the membership that the other big ones I just showed you have, and don't have the money that those big ones have to promote their causes. But these are real interest groups that promote their real causes and are very passionate about it. Okay, and finally, of course, who could forget the Dollar Coin Alliance, right? I encourage you guys to look up some of these in particular if you want to know what they're really about, whether they be big or small interest groups. If you want to know what they're really about and what their real aim and target is for existing, look them up and see. Okay, so here you go. Now I do want you to do something with this knowledge and with this this information. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to create your own interest group. Okay, first ask yourself, what cause would I be interested in promoting? Okay, and so, like I say on here, don't freak out. Have some fun with the assignment. Here's what I'm looking for. Okay, you can either type this up or you can handwrite it and create it. Take pictures of it, email it to me, but get it to me in one way or another. But here's what I'm looking for. It's not crazy big and it's not intensive, so don't lose a gasket here. Number one, invent your own interest group, give it a name. One sentence. What's the name of it? Number two, briefly in one sentence, explain the cause you're promoting. What are you passionate about promoting? Number three, create a logo to identify your interest group by. 4, create a short mission statement. Here's why we exist. Here's our whole purpose. Here's the word we're trying to get out. Okay. Number 5, explain the membership requirements. 1 to 2 sentences. What do you have to do to be a member? Okay, yearly fee, a one-time fee, think whatever, right? Number 6, explain who your target audience is. 1 to 2 sentences. What kind of group are you trying to get to be members? Everybody, certain target audience, certain demographic. What are you trying to do? Number 7, tell me where you're located, where your home base is. 1 sentence. And number 8, how are you going to raise money for the cause? Okay, you're going to do mailers, you're going to do donations. What are you going to do? Okay, you're going to advertise. So, like I said, type it out, handwrite it, take a picture, or email it to me, and that is that. And I did it in under 10 minutes. Can you believe it? And that's your assignment.